Mayor Mitch Landrieu meets with Sidney Torres, the man behind the anti-crime commercials, vowing to hold the administration responsible. I'm Natasha Robin. I'll have that story coming up in a live report.
Testimony has now come to an end. We are now awaiting a verdict in the Jennifer Gobert cabbie video trial. I'm Ram Hassan, a live report coming up.
And find out how a new crackdown on bad drivers traps vehicles parked illegally. Coming up on Fox 8 News.
From Louisiana's home team, this is Fox 8 News at 5 p.m.
Good evening once again. I'm John Snell.
And I'm Kim Holden. NOPD officers will begin off-duty details in the French Quarter.
Mayor Landrieu signed off on the plan late this afternoon following discussions with the NOPD and the man behind ads criticizing the city's effort to fight crime. The ad started airing following a rash of violent crimes in the quarter. Natasha Robin is live at City Hall.
Well, that's right. About 30 to 40 people, business leaders, community leaders, and then former sanitation entrepreneur Sidney Torres were in this meeting. They met with Mayor Mitch Landrieu along with Chief Michael Harrison to talk specifically about crime in the French Quarter. Armed robbery statistics up 38%, and the amount of armed robberies in the French Quarter has really struck a nerve in this community. Sidney Torres released commercials that have been running on local television stations with a direct message to the mayor that people are fed up with crime. The commercial says Mayor Mitch Landrieu needs to be held accountable. Well, it seemed to get the mayor's attention. This meeting lasted for more than 2 hours. Torres says it went well, and he says it was also productive.
It was very good. I mean, you know, we started off, we shook hands and gave each other a hug. So, look, this isn't there's nothing, I have no personal, anything personal against the mayor. Today really made me feel, and he showed me that he was very committed to fixing this problem. I can see, and I believe him, as well as the chief. I believe he's very committed and really wants to get it resolved, and not just by words. They laid out some plans. But, once again, I want to say that, this was a great meeting, but I think that, this is going to take work. We're going to have to implement the other short-term plans as well as the long-term plan. So it's not over, but it's a good start.
Everybody said what they had to say about the issues that concerned them, whether it was a resident or whether it was a business, large business or small business. And we all came out of the meeting feeling like we're on the same team now. We're moving forward. We're all committed to achieving the same goal.
So action was taken. We understand the mayor has agreed to sign the paperwork to begin off-duty details in the French Quarter, something that's been talked about for about a year now. The French Quarter Business League will partly fund the program. The city and other agencies will pick up the rest of the money. But it will include about 6 to 8 off-duty officers patrolling at night in the French Quarter. Now, while this meeting, they say, was productive, everyone involved has said this is just the beginning, and they are vowing to work together in the future. Sidney Torres has said that he will pull his commercials starting tonight. At City Hall, Natasha Robin, Fox 8 News.
All right, thanks, Natasha.
After 2 weeks of entrepreneur Sidney Torres running ads about crime in the French Quarter, Mayor Landrieu this afternoon calls a meeting to look for solutions. I'm Bill Capo. I'll show you what happened.
And we finally saw the sunshine today. Now it looks like we'll have some chilly temperatures tonight. I'll show you how cold it will get coming up in my pinpoint forecast.
Plus, Steve Gleason is headed to Washington, D.C.
We'll tell you the role he'll be playing before and during the President's State of the Union address.
Live from the French Quarter, this is Eyewitness News at 5.
Good evening, I'm Karen Swenson.
And I'm Ton Trung. After launching several ads criticizing Mayor Mitch Landrieu's approach to fighting crime in the French Quarter, local entrepreneur Sidney Torres meets face-to-face with the mayor.
The two met for about 2 hours this afternoon with dozens of other leaders. Bill Capo joins us live outside of City Hall with more on what came out of that meeting. Bill?
Yes, it was an interesting meeting, much longer than expected. Those ads that Sidney Torres, who's both an entrepreneur and a French Quarter resident and a crime victim, a trifecta, he's been paying for these commercials for 2 weeks now, demanding that Mayor Landrieu take action to reduce crime in the French Quarter. Well, the mayor obviously heard the message this afternoon. He did call that meeting, and Torres arrived hopeful.
I think it's a good start to have all the groups get together and try to come up with some ideas.
I think that's a start, and there's still a lot more that needs to be done now after this meeting.
The mayor called together 50 community leaders, businessmen, French Quarter restaurateurs, and neighborhood groups. They met for 2 hours, much longer than planned. But at the end, the participants left saying it was a good meeting with detailed discussion about crime in the French Quarter and how to stop the bad guys effectively.
It was promising. I think that it was a great meeting. I think that the mayor is really dedicated, and from today I can see very committed to fixing the problem. You know, my plan right now is to pull the commercials starting tonight to give him a chance to implement some of the things that he's talking about.
We talked about our short-term goals. Right now we have a deployment strategy with our task force. We have 16 people working every night. We have reserves working every night, dealing with the areas in and around the French Quarter to make sure we can prevent crime.
We have a short-term plan for the next 6 weeks to get us through Mardi Gras that keep everyone very, very safe in the French Quarter for sure. Lots of state troopers, local cops that are going to be around that are going to be able to keep us safe. They have some plans long-term that sound appealing, but you know, there's a lot more work to be done.
I really feel and believe that with the Bourbon Street Association, with that new district that they have with the police officers, he said get that signed immediately so they can have their own little detail that's going to work the Bourbon Street area. And we're looking to maybe add to that to be able to expand beyond Bourbon Street, where we can have protection in all corners of the French Quarter.
Torres said that he and the mayor actually hugged at the beginning of the meeting. Torres, Chief Harrison, and others all agreed that this is a good start, but more needs to be done, so that, of course, will mean more meetings about crime in the French Quarter. Reporting live, I'm Bill Capo, Eyewitness News.
A pair of attacks on women has people looking over their shoulders in Gentilly and New Orleans East. An attorney who claimed a cab driver tried to extort money from her over a racy video is herself convicted on charges in the same case. Businessman Sidney Torres meets with the mayor and others to talk crime prevention, what it means for his TV spot. And yep, that's what happens when the zookeeper falls asleep. Details on the Rhino Roundup. Starting tomorrow morning, New Orleans businessman Sidney Torres will pull his TV spots critical of the Landrieu administration's handling of the crime problem in the city. Torres, the mayor, top NOPD brass, and a list of French Quarter groups met this afternoon to discuss ways to work together to fight crime. The mayor's office is underscoring the NOPD's new crime task force, as well as the reserve officers dedicated to the French Quarter. The group will also look at pooling money to pay for extra police patrols. Torres says he has no plans to run any new TV spots unless the crime problem and the city's response fail to improve.